Some days begin before you are ready. Before noon, something has already gone wrong. A message unsettles you, a delay frustrates you, a fear quietly returns, and without noticing it, you begin to lose command of yourself. This is how most people suffer, not only because life is difficult, but because they allow every difficulty to enter their mind and rule their state. But what if your peace did not have to depend on perfect circumstances? What if your strength did not come from controlling the world, but from learning to control yourself? This is where Stoic philosophy begins. The Stoics teach us something both simple and life-changing. You may not control what happens around you, but you always have influence over how you respond. And in that response, your character is revealed. Your peace is protected. Your life is shaped. Every day gives you another chance to rebuild yourself. Not through grand gestures, but through quiet daily work. Through the thoughts you allow, the habits you strengthen, the words you choose, and the values you live by. That is why in today's video, we will explore 10 things you must work on every single day according to Stoic philosophy. These are not empty self-help slogans. They are practical disciplines that can help you become calmer, stronger, wiser, and more grounded in a world that constantly tries to pull you apart. Think about your own life. How many times have you felt overwhelmed by something you could not control? How many times have you reacted in a way that later made you think, I could have handled that better? The ancient Stoics understood this struggle very well. Marcus Aurelius, though he was emperor, lived through war, plague, betrayal, and instability. Yet he kept returning to one truth. The mind can remain steady even when life is not. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, taught that true freedom does not begin when the world becomes fair. It begins when you stop allowing the outside world to dominate your inner world. Seneca, surrounded by wealth, power, and political danger, reminded us that peace is not found in comfort, but in clarity, self-command, and wise judgment. Their wisdom has endured for centuries because human nature has not changed. We still struggle with fear. We still battle distraction. We still lose energy to anger, comparison, impulse, and doubt. And that is exactly why these teachings still matter. In this guide, we'll go deep into 10 daily practices that can help you live with greater purpose and greater peace. From your attitude to your communication, from discipline to gratitude, each one strengthens the others. Together, they form the foundation of a life that is not controlled by chaos, but guided by character. So here is a small challenge for you. Do not just listen passively. Stay with this video until the end, and choose at least one practice you will begin applying today. And if you are serious about transformation, subscribe to Stoic Ocean for more wisdom every single week. Now, let us begin with the first and perhaps most important practice. Number 1. Improve your attitude. Your attitude is one of the first places where your life is either weakened or strengthened. Long before results appear, before other people change, before circumstances improve, your attitude determines how you meet the day. It shapes your energy. It shapes your decisions. It shapes whether a challenge becomes a burden or a teacher. This is why Stoic philosophy places so much importance on the inner posture you bring to every experience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is not a poetic quote meant only to inspire. It is practical instruction. The Stoics are reminding us that the event itself is not always the greatest problem. The greater problem is often the attitude with which we meet it. A Stoic attitude is not fake positivity. It is not pretending that pain is pleasant or that struggle does not hurt. It is the refusal to let circumstances rule your mind. It is the decision to remain steady, clear, and self-directed even when life does not go your way. Imagine this. You are given a responsibility that feels too heavy, a difficult project, a painful conversation, a season of uncertainty you did not ask for. Your first reaction may be tension, fear, or discouragement. That is natural. But what happens next depends on your attitude. You can say, "This is too much. Why is this happening to me?" Or you can say, "This is difficult, but I will meet it with dignity. I will learn, I will adapt, I will not collapse before it begins." That shift changes everything. Not because the challenge disappears, but because you stop becoming smaller in front of it. You begin to grow through it. This is why your attitude matters so much. It determines whether hardship crushes you or refines you. A powerful example can be seen in Paralympic athletes. Their strength does not come from living easy lives. It comes from refusing to let loss, pain, or limitation become the final story about who they are. They train, they endure, they adapt. And in doing so, they show the world that human beings are often stronger than the conditions placed upon them. Their power is not just physical, it is spiritual. It is the power of perspective. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is one of the clearest Stoic truths. Your reaction is shaping you every day. Each moment of irritation, disappointment, or pressure becomes a hidden test of your inner life. Will you become bitter? Will you become reactive? Or will you become stronger, wiser, and more composed? Every morning, this choice returns. You can rise already defeated by the thought of the day, or you can rise ready to meet it with self-command. That daily decision, repeated long enough, becomes character. And character, more than talent or luck, shapes the quality of your life. So when life becomes heavy, do not ask only, "Why is this happening?" Also ask, "With what attitude will I face it?" Because your peace does not begin when the world softens. It begins when your attitude becomes stronger than your circumstances. And once you begin to govern your attitude, the next thing you must learn is how to relate to other people with wisdom. Number 2, work on your communication skills. A peaceful mind is not enough if your words keep creating conflict. That is why communication matters. Not only because it helps you exchange ideas, but because it shapes your relationships, your influence, and the quality of your daily life. Many people think communication is mainly about speaking clearly, but Stoic wisdom teaches something deeper. Good communication begins with listening, not waiting to speak, not preparing your defense, not silently judging, but truly listening. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That teaching is more relevant today than ever. We live in a world where people rush to express themselves, correct others, and prove their point. But very few people know how to listen with patience, presence, and humility. And because of that, many conversations become battles instead of bridges. Have you ever noticed how quickly a conversation changes when someone feels truly heard? Tension drops. Defensiveness softens. Trust begins to form. That is the power of listening. It is not weakness. It is discipline. It is respect in action. Stoic communication is not loud. It is measured. It is intentional. It does not speak only to be noticed. It speaks to bring clarity, peace, and understanding. This matters in every area of life. In your marriage, with your parents, with your children, with your co-workers, even with strangers who speak harshly when they themselves are carrying pain. If you do not learn to communicate wisely, you will create unnecessary suffering for yourself and for others. A meaningful modern example can be seen in leaders who transformed organizations not by force, but by empathy. Satya Nadella is often recognized for changing Microsoft's culture by encouraging curiosity, understanding, and human-centered leadership. He did not simply push people harder. He helped create an environment where listening became part of progress itself. That is an important lesson. People respond differently when they feel respected. And respect is often carried not in grand speeches, but in careful listening and thoughtful words. The Stoics also remind us that communication requires emotional control. When anger rises, when pride is wounded, when impatience takes over, we are tempted to say the thing that feels satisfying for a moment but damages trust for a long time. How many relationships have been weakened by words spoken in a passing storm of emotion? A wise person does not speak from every feeling. A wise person pauses, observes, chooses. This is part of self-mastery, and communication at its best is an expression of that mastery. It is also important to remember that communication goes beyond words. It includes your tone, your attention, your silence, your presence. Sometimes, what heals a conversation is not the perfect sentence, but the calmness with which you remain present. In a hurried world, presence is rare, but it is powerful. When you are fully present with another person, you are telling them, without saying it directly, "You matter enough for me to be here completely." That kind of presence builds stronger homes, stronger teams, and stronger lives. So the next time you enter a conversation, do not ask only, "How can I express myself?" Also ask, "How can I understand better? How can I listen better? How can I leave this exchange with more peace than I brought into it?" Because wise communication does not only improve your relationships, it refines your character. And once you begin to govern your words, you are ready for the next discipline, governing yourself. Number 3. Develop self-discipline. Many people say they want freedom, but few understand what freedom really requires. They imagine freedom as the ability to do whatever they feel like doing, to rest whenever they want, to indulge every impulse, to avoid discomfort, to follow desire without resistance. But that is not freedom, that is dependence. A person ruled by impulse is not free. They are controlled by whatever pulls their attention in the moment. True freedom begins with self-discipline. It begins when you stop living at the mercy of distraction, comfort, and passing emotion. This is one of the clearest lessons in Stoic philosophy. If you cannot govern your own habits, your own appetites, your own impulses, then sooner or later something outside you will govern your life. That is why self-discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It is the ability to choose what matters most over what feels good for 5 minutes. Look honestly at modern life. How often do people say they lack time, when what they truly lack is command over their impulses? They open their phone for 1 minute and disappear for an hour. They delay what matters because comfort feels easier. They call it exhaustion. They call it tomorrow. But often, it is undisciplined attention silently draining their life away. Have you ever felt that? Knowing exactly what you should do, yet still reaching for the easier thing. That is the struggle. And that is why discipline matters so much. Imagine a marathon runner in training. They do not become strong because motivation appears every morning. They become strong because they continue even when motivation fades. They train in discomfort. They repeat difficult actions. They accept boredom. They honor commitment. And with time, their discipline becomes part of their identity. That same principle applies to your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being." What a powerful reminder. He does not say, "Wait until you feel ready." He does not say, "Only act when it is easy." He says, "Rise to your duty. Act according to your nature. Fulfill your role." This is Stoic discipline, not harshness for its own sake, but devotion to what is right. Epictetus also reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That is the heart of the matter. If your moods control you, you are not free. If your cravings control you, you are not free. If your distractions control you, you are not free. Self-discipline restores that lost authority. It gives you back your center. And the beautiful truth is that discipline does not begin with dramatic change. It begins small. Wake up a little earlier. Finish one important task before checking your phone. Keep one promise you usually break. Say no to one distraction that normally steals your focus. These are not small things. These are acts of self-reclamation. Each time you do what is right instead of what is easy, you teach yourself strength. Each time you delay what matters, you teach yourself weakness. Over time, these lessons accumulate, and eventually, discipline stops feeling like resistance. It begins to feel like alignment. You trust yourself more. You waste less energy. You become steadier, and a steady person can build a meaningful life. So do not think of discipline as something cold or restrictive. Think of it as the bridge between the person you are now and the person you are capable of becoming. And once you begin to build that discipline, you're ready to confront another force that quietly limits so many lives: the beliefs that keep people small. Number 4. Challenge your limiting beliefs. Not every prison has walls. Some prisons are made of thought. They are built from silent assumptions, old fears, and repeated inner stories that say, "This is who I am, this is all I can do, this is as far as I can go." These are limiting beliefs, and one of their greatest dangers is that they rarely sound dramatic. They sound reasonable. That is why so many people live under them for years without even noticing. The Stoics understood that human suffering is often increased not only by reality, but by interpretation. It is not merely the obstacle before us, but the belief we attach to it that determines whether we move forward or remain stuck. How many times have you quietly told yourself, "I'm not ready. I'm too late. I'm not good enough. I've always been this way." These thoughts can feel harmless because they are familiar, but repeated long enough, they become identity. And identity, when built on fear, becomes a cage. So ask yourself honestly, what belief have you accepted without questioning? What story about yourself have you repeated so often that it now feels like truth? Because the first step to freedom is not physical, it is mental. And until a person questions the beliefs that limit them, they will continue to obey boundaries that were never truly real. Look at the lives of those who have endured what seemed unbearable and still refused to become smaller than their suffering. Helen Keller, deaf and blind in a world built for those who could see and hear, did not surrender to the first story life handed her. She became a writer, a thinker, and a voice for human dignity. Her life reminds us of something essential. The greatest barrier is not always outside us. Very often, it is the conclusion we draw about ourselves before we have even tried. What stops so many people from rising, from changing, from beginning again? Often, it is not a lack of ability. It is a quiet belief repeated so many times that it starts to sound like truth. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How much of your life has been limited not by facts, but by fear, not by reality, but by the story you kept repeating inside your own mind? Many people fail long before action. They fail in private, in thought, in assumption. They decide before the effort begins that the outcome must already be defeat. And so they never test their real strength. They never discover what was possible on the other side of discomfort. That is the tragedy of limiting beliefs. They do not merely make you doubt. They make you obey a boundary that was never fully real. So ask yourself honestly, what have you accepted about yourself without examination? What sentence have you repeated so often that it now governs your choices? Maybe it is, "I'm too late." Maybe it is, "I'm not talented enough." Maybe it is, "I always fail." These thoughts feel convincing because they are familiar, but familiarity is not proof. A repeated thought is still just a thought until it is tested against reality. This is where Stoic practice begins. The Stoics teach us not to bow to every impression that enters the mind. They teach us to examine it, to challenge it, to ask whether it is true, useful, or merely inherited fear. What evidence do you have that your limiting belief is true? And what evidence have you ignored because it threatened the identity you have grown used to? Often you will find that these beliefs are not built on truth. They are built on past pain, temporary failure, someone else's opinion, or your own fear of being seen struggling. But the past does not define your full capacity. Other people's doubts do not determine your destiny. And fear, no matter how loud, is not wisdom. Once you identify a limiting belief, you must confront it with a better question. What would you attempt if you did not automatically assume defeat? How would you speak, act, or live if this old belief no longer ruled you? What becomes possible when you stop asking, "What if I fail?" and begin asking, "What if this belief has been wrong all along?" These questions do not magically remove fear, but they weaken fear's authority. And that is enough to begin. Because beliefs lose power when they are tested through action. Action reveals reality. Action gives you evidence. Action shows you that many of the walls in your life have been maintained not by truth, but by hesitation. The final step, then, is simple, though not easy. Move anyway. Speak anyway. Try anyway. Begin anyway. Every time you act despite fear, you build a new relationship with yourself. You teach yourself that uncertainty is survivable. You prove that courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to obey it. This is how invisible prisons break. This is how a new identity forms, not through wishing, but through tested action. And once you begin to free your mind from false limits, you become more aware of another truth. Your life is being spent moment by moment, which means the next thing you must learn is how to use your time well. Number 5, improve your time management. Time is the one possession you are losing every single day, whether you value it or not. Money can return. Status can fade and be rebuilt. Even health, at times, can be restored. But time once spent is gone completely. That is why time management is not merely a productivity skill. It is a moral decision. It is a way of answering the question, what is worthy of my life? Most people do not deliberately waste their time. They simply live as if they have far more of it than they really do. They delay what matters. They scatter attention. They fill their days with noise, reaction, and distraction, then wonder why their life feels fragmented and unfinished. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. The Stoics remind us that the awareness of death should not make life feel smaller. It should make it clearer. It should make you ask, why am I giving my attention to things that do not deserve it? In modern life, one of the greatest drains on time is not hard labor, but unconscious consumption. A few minutes become an hour. One distraction opens the door to 10 more. You reach for your phone without thinking. You tell yourself you are taking a break. But what you are often doing is surrendering your attention to whatever is loudest, fastest, or easiest. And when attention is stolen, life is stolen with it. Because your days are built from what you repeatedly give your mind to. Time management, then, is not just about schedules. It is about values. It is about deciding what deserves your limited life. It is about refusing to give your best energy to what leaves you emptier when it is done. The first step is honesty. Where is your time actually going? Not where you imagine it goes, not where you intend for it to go. Where does it go in reality? Track it, observe it. Look at your day without excuses. Many people discover that they do not have a time problem. They have an avoidance problem, a distraction problem, a clarity problem. They are busy, but not directed. Occupied, but not aligned. Once you see that clearly, you can begin to choose better. The Stoics teach us to distinguish between what is essential and what is trivial. You cannot do everything. You were never meant to, but you can give yourself more fully to the few things that actually matter. That means saying no more often, no to shallow obligations, no to meaningless noise, no to habits that quietly consume your best hours. Every no protects a deeper yes, and that is how a life of purpose is built. There is also another form of wise time management: presence. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. When you speak with someone, be there. Do not divide every moment with regret about the past or anxiety about the future. A distracted mind does not truly live in any time at all, but a present mind draws full value from each hour. Remember this. Time is not merely what fills your calendar. Time is your life in visible form. How you use it is how you shape yourself. So guard it carefully, direct it intentionally, and spend it on what will still matter when the day is done. If these lessons are helping you see your life more clearly, subscribe to Stoic Ocean and let me know in the comments which of these practices is speaking to you most. We are halfway through, and some of the most important lessons are still ahead. Number 6. Build and improve your knowledge. Knowledge, in Stoic philosophy, is not the same thing as information. A person can consume endless facts, opinions, headlines, and content and still remain confused, impulsive, and inwardly weak. Why? Because knowledge is not measured by how much you collect. It is measured by how deeply you understand, how honestly you reflect, and how clearly you live. Epictetus said, "A man can't learn what he thinks he already knows." What a sharp warning. Pride closes the mind faster than ignorance. The moment you assume you are finished learning, you stop growing. You stop listening. You stop examining yourself. And without examination, you become easy to mislead, easy to provoke, and easy to control. That is why humility is essential to wisdom. The wise person does not pretend to know everything. They remain teachable. They remain curious. They remain willing to correct themselves. In today's world, this matters more than ever. We live in an age of constant information, but not necessarily of deep understanding. People scroll for hours, consume fragments of thought, borrow other people's opinions, and mistake familiarity for knowledge. But not everything that enters your mind improves it. You must ask, does what I consume make me wiser, or only more distracted? Does it sharpen my judgment or scatter my attention? True knowledge does not just entertain you. It changes how you see. It teaches you to think more clearly, to notice illusions, to question assumptions, and to act with better judgment. That is why the Stoics valued learning so highly. They understood that ignorance is not harmless. Ignorance causes poor decisions, unexamined fears, false priorities, and unnecessary suffering. Knowledge, rightly pursued, becomes a form of inner freedom. It helps you understand your own mind. It helps you recognize what drives you, what weakens you, and what leads you astray. It also helps you understand the world without becoming overwhelmed by it. You stop reacting blindly. You begin discerning wisely, and that shift can transform the whole direction of your life. But knowledge must not remain abstract. It must become lived. There is little value in reading about patience if you remain irritable. Little value in studying discipline if you keep surrendering to impulse. Little value in admiring wisdom if you never apply it to your own conduct. Knowledge without practice becomes decoration. Knowledge with practice becomes transformation. So make learning a daily discipline. Read slowly enough to reflect. Study ideas that challenge your assumptions. Seek out voices that deepen your understanding, not just confirm your preferences. Ask better questions. Think longer thoughts. And above all, turn what you learn into action. Let knowledge refine your character, not just your vocabulary. Because the goal is not to appear informed. The goal is to become wiser. And as your knowledge grows, you begin to see more clearly what supports a strong life and what weakens it. Which leads naturally to another daily practice many people ignore until they pay for it dearly: their health. Number 7. Never neglect your health. It is difficult to live well when your body is exhausted, your mind is foggy, and your nervous system is constantly strained. That is why health matters so deeply, not because appearance is everything, not because strength is status, but because your body is the instrument through which you live, act, serve, endure, and fulfill your duties. If that instrument is neglected, everything becomes harder. Your patience weakens, your discipline drops, your emotions become more fragile. Even your thinking becomes less clear. Many people speak about peace, purpose, and self-mastery, while living in a way that steadily erodes their own capacity for all three. They sleep poorly, they move too little, they eat carelessly, they live overstimulated, they rest without truly resting, then they wonder why calm feels distant and consistency feels impossible. The Stoics understood that the body and mind are deeply connected. A neglected body can make virtue harder. Not impossible, but harder. When you are chronically tired, it becomes more difficult to be patient. When your body is weakened, it becomes easier to fall into irritability, escapism, or despair. That is why caring for your health is not vanity. It is responsibility. It is preparation for a better life. Think of your body as the vessel that carries your character through the world. If you damage the vessel, you reduce its capacity to carry anything well. So do not treat health as something you will prioritize later, after you are successful, after life is less busy, after stress is gone. Health delayed is often health diminished, and the cost of neglect is usually greater than people imagine. Start simply, walk more, sleep with intention, eat in ways that nourish, not just satisfy. Give your mind moments of silence. Let your body recover from constant tension. Do not glorify exhaustion as if depletion were a form of achievement. A worn-out mind is more reactive. A worn-out body is more vulnerable. A well-cared-for self is more capable of steadiness, clarity, and resilience. Health also includes your inner condition, stress, worry, mental overload. These can wound you as surely as physical neglect. The Stoics remind us to care for the mind as carefully as we care for the body. To examine thoughts, to reduce unnecessary agitation, to seek calm, not as laziness, but as strength under wise control. So make health a daily practice, not because you are obsessed with comfort, but because you want to become someone capable of carrying life well. Every healthy choice is an investment in your future steadiness, and a stronger, clearer, better supported self is far more able to continue the long work of becoming better each day. Which brings us to another practice that never truly ends: personal growth. Number 8. Personal development and growth. Growth is one of those things many people admire, but few commit to with consistency. They love the idea of becoming better. They speak about change. They dream about discipline, wisdom, and inner peace. But growth does not happen because it is admired. It happens because it is practiced. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is one of the clearest calls to action in all of Stoicism. Do not merely discuss virtue. Do not merely imagine a stronger life. Live it, practice it, embody it in the smallest daily decisions. That is where real growth happens, not in dramatic declarations, but in repeated conduct. Personal development is not becoming impressive. It is becoming governed. It is not about appearing evolved. It is about responding better, choosing better, and living with greater integrity over time. That means growth is often quiet. It does not always look like breakthrough. Sometimes it looks like pausing before anger, returning to discipline after failure, telling the truth when lying would be easier, staying patient when your ego wants immediate reward. These moments may seem small, but they are not small. They are the workshop in which character is formed. Consider Albert Einstein. Before the world recognized his genius, he spent years working quietly, thinking deeply, studying persistently, and refining his mind outside the spotlight. His story reminds us that greatness is rarely sudden. It is often the result of long, invisible commitment. The same is true for your life. Who you become is being shaped far more by your repeated habits than by your occasional inspiration. So ask yourself, what are you practicing each day? Because whatever you repeat, you strengthen. If you repeat avoidance, you strengthen weakness. If you repeat discipline, you strengthen trust. If you repeat reflection, you strengthen wisdom. If you repeat courage, you strengthen character. This is why Stoic growth is not accidental. It is deliberate. It asks something of you every day. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, stop needing to look impressive while you are still learning. Stop protecting your ego at the cost of your development. Real growth often requires humility. It requires being willing to start badly, to be corrected, to be misunderstood, and to continue anyway. That is difficult for the ego, but essential for the soul. There is no final point at which you arrive and no longer need to work on yourself. Growth remains a duty for as long as life continues. A daily duty, a quiet duty, a noble duty. So do not ask only, "How can I become more?" Ask also, "How can I become truer, steadier, wiser, and more useful?" Because the deepest growth is not about building a more impressive image. It is about becoming a better human being. And when you begin to take growth seriously, the next question naturally begins to rise. What is all this growth for? What direction is it meant to serve? That is where purpose enters the journey. But do you have the courage to leave your comfort zone and meet that discomfort without running from it? Every day gives you another chance to refine yourself. And small failures, if accepted wisely, become the stepping stones to greater strength. Think of self-development as an artisan shaping marble. Each strike of the hammer, each careful touch, may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, through patience and repeated effort, a masterpiece begins to emerge. In the same way, every book you read, every temptation you resist, every decision you make to strengthen your body or clarify your mind becomes another mark upon your character. This is why consistency matters so much. Not perfection, but persistence. Not dramatic change, but steady correction. That is how real growth happens. One choice at a time. One day at a time. One honest effort repeated long enough to change who you become. Number 7, never neglect your health. It is difficult to live with clarity when your body is exhausted, your mind is clouded, and your emotions are stretched too thin. That is why health must never be neglected. Not because appearance is everything, not because strength is a status symbol, but because your body is the instrument through which you think, work, endure, serve, and fulfill your purpose. If that instrument is weakened, everything becomes harder. Patience becomes harder. Discipline becomes harder. Calm becomes harder. Even wisdom becomes harder to practice when you are constantly tired, overstimulated, or unwell. The Stoics understood that body and mind are deeply connected. A neglected body can make virtue more difficult. When you sleep poorly, you become easier to irritate. When you never rest, you become more reactive. When you treat your body carelessly, you weaken your ability to remain steady under pressure. That is why caring for your health is not vanity. It is responsibility. It is part of preparing yourself to live well. Think of your body as the vessel that carries you through every duty, every challenge, and every season of life. If you neglect it, how will you expect it to carry you well? Many people sacrifice their health for success, for productivity, or for endless busyness, only to discover later that poor health makes every other achievement harder to enjoy and harder to sustain. Health is not something to appreciate only after it is damaged. It is something to protect daily. Start simply. Walk more. Sleep with intention. Eat in ways that nourish, not merely satisfy. Give your mind moments of quiet. Let your body recover instead of glorifying constant exhaustion. Do not treat burnout as evidence of commitment. A worn-out self is not a stronger self. A better cared-for body supports a better governed mind. And a better governed mind is far more capable of courage, discipline, and peace. Remember, health is not separate from your growth. It supports your growth. Every healthy choice you make today strengthens the person you will be tomorrow. And when you begin to care for your health with greater seriousness, you create a stronger foundation for another lifelong task, the work of personal development. Number 8, personal development and growth. Growth is something many people admire but few pursue with consistency. They like the idea of becoming wiser. They like the idea of becoming calmer, stronger, more disciplined, more fulfilled. But growth does not happen because it is admired. It happens because it is practiced. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That is not merely an inspiring sentence. It is a direct command. Stop discussing the life you want to live and begin living it. Stop waiting for perfect timing, perfect confidence, or perfect clarity. Begin where you are. Use what you have. Practice what you already know to be right. Personal development is not about becoming impressive. It is about becoming governed. It is about training your character so that your actions align more closely with your values. That means growth is often quiet. It does not always look like dramatic breakthroughs. Sometimes it looks like pausing before anger, choosing discipline over impulse, returning to your path after a setback, being honest when dishonesty would be easier, remaining patient when your pride demands immediate reward. These moments may appear small, but they are not small. They are the hidden places where character is formed. Think of Albert Einstein. Before the world recognized his genius, he spent years working in obscurity, studying deeply, thinking patiently, and refining his mind without applause. His story reminds us that meaningful growth rarely happens all at once. It is usually built through long periods of quiet effort that no one notices at first. The same is true for your life. You are being shaped less by your occasional inspiration than by your repeated habits. What you practice, you become. If you practice avoidance, you strengthen weakness. If you practice reflection, you strengthen wisdom. If you practice discipline, you strengthen trust in yourself. If you practice courage, you strengthen character. That is why Stoic growth is not accidental. It is deliberate. It asks something of you each day. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, do not let your ego prevent your development. Be willing to learn. Be willing to be corrected. Be willing to begin badly and continue anyway. Real growth requires humility. It requires patience. It requires the courage to keep shaping yourself without needing immediate proof that the effort is working. So ask yourself honestly, what are you practicing every day? Because that is what is shaping you. Growth is not a distant destination. It is a daily duty, a quiet duty, a lifelong duty. And when you begin to take that duty seriously, another question naturally begins to rise. What is all this growth for? What is the direction you are trying to serve? That is where purpose enters the journey. Number 9, work on your purpose. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what is my life actually moving toward? This is not just a philosophical question, it is a practical one. Because purpose shapes how you live each day. Without purpose, effort becomes scattered. Discipline becomes harder. Time gets wasted. And even success can feel strangely empty. The Stoics believe that a good life must be lived in accordance with what is meaningful, right, and worth serving. Your purpose does not need to be grand, famous, or world-changing. It does not need to impress anyone. It only needs to be real, honest, and aligned with your values. For some, purpose may be found in raising children well. For others, in healing, teaching, building, serving, creating, or protecting. What matters is not whether the purpose appears large to the world, but whether it is noble to your conscience. Purpose is not just what excites you. It is also what you are willing to carry, what you are willing to sacrifice for, what you are willing to remain faithful to, even when it becomes difficult. That is what gives purpose its strength. It is what keeps life from collapsing into distraction and meaninglessness. A nurse who cares for patients every day may never be praised as extraordinary. Yet in Stoic terms, that life may contain immense dignity, because to serve others with steadiness, compassion, and responsibility is no small thing. It is purpose lived in action. Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of a concentration camp, wrote powerfully about the human need for meaning. Even in suffering, he saw that life could still ask something of us. That is a profound truth. Purpose does not disappear when life becomes dark. In many cases, it becomes even more necessary. It gives suffering direction. It prevents pain from becoming empty. It reminds you why you must continue. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That is the work. Clarify who you want to be. Clarify what you want your life to serve. Then begin to honor that purpose through daily action. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait until you feel completely certain. Purpose becomes clearer through faithful action, not endless hesitation. So ask yourself, what matters deeply enough for me to serve it daily? What kind of person am I trying to become? What kind of life would feel worthy when I look back on it? Your answer may begin small. That is fine. Small beginnings are still beginnings. What matters is that you make it yours and work on it every day. Because a person with purpose walks differently. They endure differently. They choose differently. And once your life begins to move with greater purpose, you become more able to recognize what is already present, already meaningful, already worthy of appreciation. That is where gratitude begins. Number 10. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful Stoic practices for protecting inner peace. Not because it denies pain, not because it pretends life is always easy, but because it trains the mind to notice what remains good even when life is imperfect. Most people are taught to focus constantly on what is missing, what they do not have, what others have, what still has not happened. And so the mind becomes restless, dissatisfied, and blind to the quiet gifts already surrounding it. Gratitude interrupts that blindness. It teaches you to see again, a cool breeze, a peaceful morning, a meal that nourishes you, a conversation that comforts you, a hand that still reaches back when you need support. These things may seem small, but much of life is made meaningful through small things. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." That is not passivity. It is wisdom. It is the refusal to let the mind worship what is absent while ignoring what is present. Gratitude does not mean you never desire growth. It means you do not become spiritually poor while chasing more. It means you remain capable of reverence for what is here now. This matters especially in adversity, because gratitude is not only for easy days, it is also for difficult ones. Not because hardship is pleasant, but because even within hardship, something often remains. A lesson, a breath, a chance to endure, a person who stays, a strength you did not know you possessed. Gratitude helps you face life without becoming consumed by bitterness. It shifts your gaze from constant deficiency to quiet sufficiency, from complaint to awareness, from restlessness to peace. So ask yourself, what have you been given that you no longer notice? What in your life have you started treating as ordinary, even though once you prayed for it, longed for it, or would have missed it deeply if it were gone? That is where gratitude must return, and gratitude, like every Stoic practice, grows stronger through repetition. Write down 3 things you are grateful for. Speak your thanks more often. Pause long enough to appreciate what is simple, good, and present. Over time, gratitude becomes more than a habit. It becomes a way of seeing, a way of living, a way of remaining inwardly rich in a world that constantly teaches people to feel lacking. So before moving on, take one quiet moment and ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? And when you begin to live with gratitude, the whole journey of these 10 practices comes together in a deeper way. Because gratitude softens what discipline hardens, it brightens what struggle darkens, and it reminds you that a well-lived life is not built only through effort, but also through appreciation. As we reflect on these 10 daily practices rooted in Stoic philosophy, one truth becomes clear. Life is not shaped mainly by what happens to us, but by how we choose to live each day. Each thought, each response, each habit, each small decision. These are the things quietly building our character. Stoicism teaches us that every day is an opportunity to become steadier, wiser, and more self-governed. To improve your attitude, to speak with more care, to act with discipline, to challenge false limits, to use your time wisely, to keep learning, to care for your health, to keep growing, to live with purpose, and to practice gratitude. None of these things require a perfect life. They require practice. They require awareness. They require a willingness to return again and again to what is right, even after failure, even after distraction, even after difficult days. That is how real transformation happens. Not overnight, not through grand promises, but through repeated choices made with sincerity over time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And that is why this work matters, because your thoughts shape your responses. Your responses shape your habits shape your character, and your character shapes your life. So do not leave these ideas here as inspiration only. Carry them into tomorrow, into your morning, into your next conversation, into your next temptation, into your next setback. That is where wisdom proves itself. The path begins not in some distant future, but in the next decision you make. Choose to meet life with a better attitude. Choose to guard your words. Choose to strengthen discipline. Choose to question the beliefs that keep you small. Choose to protect your time. Choose to keep learning. Choose to honor your health. Choose to continue growing. Choose to serve a purpose. Choose gratitude. These are not merely 10 ideas. They are 10 practices for living well. 10 ways to become harder to shake, clearer in mind, stronger in character, and more peaceful in spirit. If this video helped you, subscribe to Stoic Ocean for more wisdom every single week. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and comment below with the one thing you will begin working on today. Thank you for being here, and remember, the transformation you seek is not waiting in some far-off future. It is hidden in the way you think, the way you choose, and the way you live today. Make that day count.